Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play it as karmic themes. Because it's about understanding why a person does what they do, understanding why you're attracting a person that triggers you. What is the spiritual significance to the connection? And the reason why is because a lot of times we are not attracting our divine counterpart. We are connected to karmic mates. The universe brings us people and situations and experiences to teach us, to grow us, because it's all about evolving back into your natural state of consciousness. Your natural God-given energy is the energy of unconditional love. That's the energy of the universe. That's the energy of God, because you have the universe inside of you, and the universe is God. So when we're talking about this God, we're talking about this higher state of consciousness that's every emotion that's derived from unconditional love. And so when we are in a place of fear, we're actually out of alignment. And traumatic experiences are what create fear. Traumatic experiences are what makes us view ourselves through a distorted perception. And it's a perception that we lived, but it's not the way that the universe intended. It's not the way that we're supposed to be. Healing is possible, but it's all about the integration and transmutation process, which is understanding why your person does what they do so you can see your situation differently, but also, more importantly, understanding why you attract what you're attracting, why the spiritual triggers are what they are, what you're supposed to do to actually be able to release. And when I say release, I'm talking about release those, the baggage of the past, to release those traumas. When we go through experiences that are traumatic, we tend to hold on to them and begin to wear them like armor. And what I mean by that is we form so many habits and behaviorisms to protect ourselves that are in alignment with that traumatic experience, whether it's being brought up in an abusive family where then maybe it's an alcoholic, or even a mom that's mentally sick, whatever imbalance, or even just growing up in a place of lack, poor, not having enough. You're being conditioned to believe that you're not enough. So you lived a real consciousness. You embodied that consciousness. So understand you become that consciousness. That consciousness becomes familiar. We begin to get comfortable with it, even though we're not comfortable with it, because the other way challenges us to step into the best version of ourselves. And again, life is a healing journey. It's all about, healing the traumas of your past so that you can create yourself. So that when those habits and those behaviorisms that are in alignment with those traumas fall away, because you're recreating yourself. And when you recreate yourself, you are actually forming behaviorisms and habits that are in alignment with who you are today, your goals, your dreams, your passions. When you're doing that, you are in alignment with the laws of the universe. It doesn't mean you're doing them perfect. A lot of times we don't do them perfect. A lot of times we start off as disasters, and then we can become a master. But it's a journey. But we have to accept ourselves and love ourselves and understand that every relationship holds spiritual significance. Understanding what that significance is and applying the spiritual knowledge allows you to transcend the limitations of your mind. We all can quantum jump into the reality that we want to experience. We have to be able to imagine it and understand the child that survives always thrives, because we're comfortable in the imagination realm. Everything is subconscious. And if you're living in your imagination, you can create anything. Grounding that tends to be an issue though. It's like we have to get the skills. So there might be a lot of psychic people on here that I feel like haven't found their soul's path and understand that's an embodying energy, meaning you have to try. You can't just think. You invest in self and discipline yourself in order to heal the effects of trauma. Because your brain is like putty, always being molded to the experiences and creating neurological pathways that are in alignment with those experiences. All right, now the word of the video is neglect, self-neglect. That is the word of the video. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. So the word of the video is neglect. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you obviously have to be open to getting a shadow reading. You have to be also open to getting it live. And you gotta like the video, subscribe to the channel. Those are no-brainers. And you gotta write the word of the video in your comment bar. Now, the word of the video is significant because it's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. You know, it's like, or what that person's perception is, especially if you're not doing anything, but it's neglect. And I feel like you're connected to someone that I feel like it's easy for them to neglect. I feel like that you're dealing with someone that has addictions. You're dealing with someone that does everything to avoid and escape taking accountability. And so there's a sense that, you know, they'll cut their nose off to spite their face. So I feel like you feel like you're connected to someone that has feelings for you, but they're not doing anything. They're neglecting you. And they're neglecting you by neglecting themselves. It's like, because you're saying, why is this person able to do this to me? And Spirit is saying, the energy is why, first of all, it's like it's the person that is not doing anything to you. That's the way that they can't do to themselves. So they can't treat you any better. But the question is, why did you attract this person into your life? It's like, why is this energy comfortable to you that you would be in a connection with someone that doesn't show up for themselves, doesn't love themselves enough to take accountability? We all make mistakes. And so there's a sense of like, I feel like you're tired of being with someone that is neglecting themselves, so they're neglecting you. And so being connected to them makes you being like neglect yourself because you're not getting anything. You're waiting for the person to figure it out. When meanwhile, they don't want to figure anything out. They like to be the victim. They like to be like, look what happened to me, and then have people come in and rescue them and help them is what I feel. So this is the underlining energy, and it's really frustrating to be in a connection with somebody that continually gets in their own way and then doesn't really fix it. And so being connected to somebody that it racks up a lot of negative karma, you would again inherit some of that karma. It's about knowing that that's the way that you would neglect yourself. So if you were brought up in a family that you emotionally didn't get, or maybe financially didn't get, maybe your parents, again, ignored you, or it felt like you were ignored, your needs were ignored, your feelings were ignored, like every perception of your existence was ignored, you would feel comfortable with this type of energy. But like I said, I feel like you got to a place where you're like, I like you've done the healing. Like you're like, I know what it is. Being connected to someone like this is gonna, I'm neglecting myself. And I would be repeating a cycle that I grew up in, like almost the inherited childhood trauma you would be reliving. That's really what the energy is. So, and that's being connected to someone that's reckless, and they're reckless because they're just thoughtless. They take dangerous risks where they drink and drive, where they run around with numerous people, where they get like escapism. This person has not started drinking like a year ago. They've been drinking their entire life. So the effects of what they do is not like they can go to work all day and be drunk and no one would know. That's the irony. You could be in a connection with someone that's an alcoholic or does drugs and really not know because they learned how to navigate their life that way, and their tolerance for alcohol and drugs is extremely high. But the thing is, it comes out in their behaviorisms where, a little bit isn't satisfying. It's like that Guns N' Roses song that I'm hearing. I used to do a little, but a little wouldn't do it, so a little got more and more. It's like that's like this person. They get out of control. And I don't feel like it's just with drugs. I feel like it's with addictive behavior, which is a sign of avoidance, and it's that this person isn't 100% grounded. They haven't done the healing. So they're reckless, and they when they're in that energy of this manic energy, they're really unaware of what they do. And I feel like when you were with them, you were unaware of a lot of their demons. They didn't let you get close enough to see. I feel like you wanted to give this person privacy. You wanted this person to chase you a little bit more. You wanted them to show you a little bit more. And they always held back. They never really gave. Well, that was really the reason why. It's not that what you were feeling wasn't that feeling. You can feel a psychic connection. You can feel it. It does it not logically. They're not doing anything that would tell you, but you can feel it. And so this person, again, it's not that they didn't feel it. It's again, but they were ignoring their gut feelings. And again, they tend to form very codependent relationships. Very codependent. So, which means they get attached really quick, or they want to come in fast and have the person that is with them, which it was you, get attached really quick. So, and that is, always warning us not to commit too soon. Separate needs from wants, where this person likes to have somebody in their life because it makes them seem normal, it grounds them. They just don't want to be like, I feel like they don't want to give up their habits. They don't want to give up their dark demons that they, hold on to, their behaviorisms and habits that make them be able to detach and avoid. And really, that's what it is. Because in a relationship, you want to talk about hard things. This person doesn't know how to be transparent. They don't know how to be transparent. They're not good with, deep conversations. They get triggered. You get punished if, you're pointing out how the person's making you feel. It's like the same exact environment of what you grew up in. Like getting yelled at for your feelings. Like, again, you're drawing attention to yourself. There's a need. So again, being taught to neglect yourself on an unconscious level and deal with it and like it. Meaning no birthday for you, no, no special occasion for you. If you graduated from high school, it wasn't really a big deal. If you like where other families, you would look around and you would see that, people were celebrated. So that's the psychic trauma. The psychological trauma is that it's like other people get celebrated. It's like where you felt like you were in a war zone and were taught to neglect yourself. But that's because I feel like parents were neglecting their selves. Well, now you attract somebody that neglects their self, and they are going to neglect you too, because that is what becomes a samskara, which is an emotional imprint, which is what imprints on the subconscious mind. You're not thinking about it. You're like, I'm out of that place, thank God, and I know what I want. But fragmented pieces of you had to break off, and that's subconsciously you just don't remember. You just don't remember because it was painful. It was psychologically damaging, the environment that you grew up in. So it's again, you don't remember. And so Spirit says, oh, those parts that you don't remember, unfortunately, they still need to be accounted for. The universe is looking and tallying up and saying, yeah, we're still missing pieces here. It's like, and you're like, I can't help that. It's like it was memory. And Spirit says, well, we have 100-piece jigsaw puzzle here, and we got about 15 pieces missing. Do you know how bad that looks? Do you know how like it's an eyesore? You're gonna constantly see that, like, where the hell are those pieces? And so you'll put other things in where those pieces are supposed to be, just to so that there's not empty space, hoping that people are not going to see. And that's not you. That's not the puzzle, rather. It's like, well, you do that with yourself when you have shadows and fragmented pieces of self that you don't remember. You're going to create facades, illusions in the mask that we wear. So understand that is what we perceive as our identity, and that is what becomes the survival tactic. So the person learned how to survive this way, but they learned how to survive detached. Because in living through the mask, you're not living from your gut, your intuition, your inner knowing, which is the spirit part of self, the higher self, which is we know what to do. We can get caught up in what the environment tells us to do. And in that, we're not going to get good results. And then if you try and tell this person anything, they get self-righteous. So understand they come in fast and quick, and so emotionally, connected to you, knowing that emotionally they perceive that you don't get that. So they're going to lay it on thick, get you into the bedroom real fast. So we form like this emotional connection. But then I'm turning into self-righteous. You're not going to tell me a damn thing. You're not going to tell me a damn thing. It's my way, the highway, to get this big ego. And the reason why is because people that have that addictive behavior will do anything and everything to protect their habit. They'll do everything that they begin to love that life because it feels comfortable. It's what feels right. The regular life begins to get boring. And it begins to get boring because it's like, oh, it's every day the humdrum. It's like the same person every single day. It's like, and now you want me to do everything for you. And there's just a sense of emptiness, because your relationships are not really what's supposed to fulfill you all the way. You need to fulfill yourself. It's like this person has the addictions and all those escapism ways because they don't know who they are. It's because they haven't like created a skill, or the skill that they have, they're just bored. It's like there's nothing really feeding this person, and they still have all that past childhood trauma. Because when we have people that are reckless with addictions and they're crazy, they don't really care, they're not paying attention to even the consequences of themselves. They tend to not think that there's any, and because they always have people bailing them out. So again, the bailout person would be you. Again, the attachment, and that you would be unaware, but this person is really unaware. And when it's not that they want to feel as if they're unaware. No, they're going to act self-righteous, and they're going to go by their intuition, what they think is their intuition, I should say, but it's not, it's their ego. And that's the problem. And then what happens is if this person doesn't get what they want, they act like, you were just a conquest. And that's what I'm saying about that addictive behavior. It feeds their ego. Remember, there's fragmented pieces of self. They don't remember parts of who they are or those experiences of what has happened. So, in order to integrate the spiritual lesson, they would actually have to go through, a completely different experience and be able to see it differently, to see it from a different perception. A lot of times, I should say, we don't see it until we're put in a different position. So this person, again, when you are in this connection, they come on extremely strong, and I feel like they do a lot of manipulation in order to keep you stuck. And that stuck is like relying on them. Though there's a resentment, well, because this person doesn't really want anybody to be relying on them. They just want what they want. So it's another manipulation tactic of, I'll give you what you need, but in that I can treat you however I want. And then it's all my rules. And it's just, again, it's a lot of manipulation to keep you there, that you don't even realize that you become unaware. And it's because this person is so unaware of the healing that they need. It's, again, they're letting their dark side run their life. And this is because the ego is the one running life. It's not the higher self. The higher self is the God part of self. That's all about unconditional love. So when we can be compassionate, when we can be like, persevere and be gentle and be kind and, not hold on to anger and resentment, but this person like has so much, anger and resentment from the experiences that they went through of being brought up in an environment with a person that neglect them. But the problem is like they just accumulated more and more and more and more bad experiences. So they're always coming from a place of strategy. They're always that have resentment. Again, this is what I was saying, the whole avoidance thing. It's like you feel like you're in a relationship, but that's a one-sided relationship, making you feel powerless on an emotional level. That's how they're doing it, through manipulation of, it's my way or the highway. You want to talk about something that's important to you. I don't really want to talk about that. I don't want to take accountability. So I'm not going to apologize. This way I can treat you the same way that I've always been treating you. I don't want to have to change. Though they want an attachment type of connection, which is someone that's really codependent, someone that's not going to be on a very high vibration. And the way that they like to do that is through isolation, like putting you kind of in isolation. And that's whether and not hanging out all the time when they're around, hanging out, and just when they want you, doing what they want to do, or them just ignoring you and putting you in a place of depression and anxiety, so that you don't want to hang out with anyone, because you would want to talk about your connection with this person, and every single person would tell you that you were in a bad connection. So on some level that it's not a healthy connection. And it's because this person neglects themselves, so they can't show up for you. It's, again, this person feels out of place. They're going to make you feel out of place, like there's something wrong with you. You don't realize that you begin to take on this person's habits and behaviorisms slowly. And it's what winds up happening too, is that what brought the connection together and why the attachment was even possible was that there was good chemistry. There was a lot of passion. But over time, due to the way that this person like comes in and out, and avoids difficult conversations, avoids the way that you feel, doesn't want to give you what you need, but wants you there for what makes them feel good. Well, it's, again, like it affects the bedroom. it affects it because it's like because this person is not growing any emotionally intimacy. So it becomes extremely difficult. And so if you say something, they act out, and they say that they're acting like that you're acting fierce, that you're acting like too much, when really this person avoids, ignores, does what they want, and doesn't expect you to react. Again, they're focusing on the reaction, which is manipulation to get you to be quiet. And then, you know, going back to making you feel alone and just like not safe on a psychologically and emotional level. We can see like that this person is extremely manipulative. Again, their old habits. They need to create new habits as again, and their old habits of what feels comfortable. It allows them to like hide behind the self-image of who they want to perceive that they are. And so relationships would be very difficult. This person would put themselves in competition with you. They might even sabotage what you're doing because understand they're not creating themselves. They're living their trauma. They are their trauma. And everything that they create from that trauma is in alignment with that energy because look at their behaviorisms. So they don't have authentic connections. They have people that, are one and done. And so people that they can't really trust in their life. So they make that into a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're not growing themselves any other way. So they feel inadequate. They feel like they don't belong because belonging doesn't come from, oh, hey, like I belong because of like, look at the house that I live in and look how confident I am. Well, I mean, it comes from common interests. It comes because there's a person that has a low self-esteem that has a lot of friends. And it's because they're interactive in their life and they're healing. They're building their self-esteem through, again, like participating in life. This person does not participate in life. They check out. So, of course, everything would be like a competition, or they would see you as trying to put yourself in competition if you shared, like, hey, what you've been doing with your life. You know what I mean? It's like they're not used of that. They're not balanced, and there was need for balance. You need to be balanced. And I had gotten this before and I was going to wait, but we're pulling it again, forgiveness and forgiveness. So this is the underlining energy that we need to let go. We need to let go of past hurts. So I want to just pull and go a little bit deeper and see. I'm only going to pull 3 cards to see what this person feels or to see what type of connection this connection is. If we can figure it out. As we are one, don't let fear get in the way of this truth. So this person knows that you're a soulmate. But I feel like you're like, I already see that you're like fear would actually get very in the way because this person's not balanced. I feel you pulling away and it triggers my fears that you'll leave me for good. So again, this is why this person is saying, wait, we still have a connection. So it's not like they don't feel that connection, but they don't they've never been in a healthy relationship. They're not healthy. And so it's like there's a part of them that's like gets way too much in their own way, where they'll overthink themselves out of the connection, think that you're too good for them, think that, you're putting yourself in competition with them. They get very triggered very easily. And that happens from when we have had relationships in our life that person changes on a dime. So this person could have been brought up by someone that was really mentally unstable. And so they now have adapted to a lot of that person's behaviorisms and habits, but this is also a spiritual connection. It's not that it's not, because they can feel it, but it doesn't mean that you're supposed to be in their life. Sometimes karmics only come in for a day. a season or a lifetime. Remember, there's all different kinds. My heart is opening to love and guiding me back to you. So this is again like this person feels like eventually I'll wind up coming back, or you'll wind up coming back to me because we still have this spiritual connection. And so I don't know whether this person is eventually going to come to you or whether they're not, but let's look and see what they're going to do and what their intention is. Understand this person hasn't done any healing whatsoever. So just because they come back doesn't mean that you should take them back. You might, if it's somebody that's a real soulmate that you're crazy about, maybe you might want to be friends with them. But it's like, understand this person doesn't really know how to be a friend. So it's again putting yourself in a situation where it would be all about you giving. And this person again is that like realizing that you're something that's important to them. So again, I see happy home, right? And love and kindness and family. I see this as more of, again, a spiritual connection. A spiritual connection because there is a lot of like chemistry. It's the one thing that remains is what I feel, that this person screws up their life a lot. They go in and out of consciousness. People drop in and out of their life. They screw up opportunities. But the one thing that they can still feel is that through it all, they can still feel the connection. And that's why I feel like this person sees that you're like home. However, in order to be with them, it's all about like boundaries. Like this person wouldn't be able to deal with your boundaries either. So, you know, you can try, but it won't, if it disrupts your peace, which it will, um, then you should, think twice about being with this person, just because this person wants to hook up. They're going to say that they want to cooperate. Yes, because in the moment, this person does feel that way. But it's like somebody that's schizophrenic that again changes on a drop of a dime because they look at they're not balanced. They do drugs, they run around, they have addictions. Again, balance, they're not balanced. And it's really because again of their old habits. They haven't done any healing work. You would be extremely tired. And I think that you were extremely tired because psychologically you can be drained, from this person like trying to manipulate and have their cake and eat it too, where you're just getting to the point where you're really impatient of like being understanding, giving this person time, having this person show up and do the right thing. You're tired. You're like, it's all because what you see is that this person wants to control you, and in that control, they would destroy you. They would destroy you. You know that. So you've gotten to a place where you're like, it's not like you didn't take time off. You did. And there was a lot of self-actualization during this time. And your intuition, your premonition, you're starting to see extremely clearly. I feel like, yes, there is an ESP connection. This person is a past life karmic mate. However, you're seeing clearly like that's exactly what they are. They're a karmic mate. Where at one point you might have felt like they were a soulmate twin flame connection. So again, I was asking, this is where you're at. Now this person, they're getting spiritual insights. It's again, they feel like they're they have hope, but understand they're still like going to be like the life of the party and still have all their addictions. They're not going to be any different. So there is a spiritual connection, but it's like this person, like, I feel like will say that they're going to do what it takes because they're a very stubborn person. They want what they want. So don't be confused. There is a spiritual connection here, but this person needs to do so much healing that, you know, it's like their ego is what runs the show. So again, they will show that they have backbone. They will show that they have staying power. You know, they, before then, when they act aloof, they're prepared because they know that that's what you're going to like be looking for to see whether emotionally they're getting spiritual insights. But you already intuitively know, like, regardless of what you show me, I have already seen and saw who you are. And, you know, you don't want to be controlled by mind games. And that's really what it is. You're changing the narrative on this person. And you did so because you took a lot of time away. This person played a lot of games to stay away. And at this time, like, it's just unlikely that you would take this person back because of that premonition. So you might be friends with this person, but you're not going to. And because you look closer, you inspect, you see, you're like so careful that because this person already showed you who they are. So understand it's unlikely for them to really do anything right now also to come into your life because they know that you'll be looking for it. So if they're coming in, they have to be coming in 100% correct because they already know. But it's only to get you back. And it's because in their mind, they really do think that they have feelings for you. But the truth of the matter is that this person, they need to heal themselves. It's like there's a part of them that wants to, wants like sees you as like it's not just you, sees you as a connection to like fun, to support. You give them the illusion that they're normal, like that it's again, and it's due to who you are. And so this person I don't really feel like they have anything that's lasting in their life due to the way that they are. So it's not like they don't have moments where they say, hey, I want to be part of that. I want that support because what they see is that you learn to like find support through other mediums because you didn't have the support. But this person would like to do that, but their habits and their behaviorisms are a problem for them to maintain any types of connection by themselves. People come in, people come out. They sabotage the connection all the time. And so, again, being connected to you allows them to be connected to other people. And unless this person is coming in correctly, like they're not going to be able to stay in your life because you have people that are going to protect you. But there is an emotional force. This person, like it's like subconsciously they know that there's a connection. Emotional force is just that spiritual connection that pulls you back to that person. This is what this person feels. So even though they're not doing anything right now, they're eventually going to do something because they want that connection. It's almost like, see, old habits die hard, though. And this person like is stuck in those family patterns. They're stuck in the past. That's really what it is. Family patterns and ones that are going to make you weary and tired when you're connected to them, but also for them, they're not in their body. They have a root chakra imbalance. They don't like who they are. So dealing with people creates a lot of emotional turbulence inside this person because again, they feel inadequate. They feel like they don't belong. So there's like all those feelings that they have when they're trying to just navigate their life because they feel inadequate because of the family patterns that they've inherited. But it's like those family patterns are still playing out within this person's life. And where it's like they want attachment style relationships so that they can still like stay in the low vibration of being able to have addictions and have really risky behavior and not caring what those consequences are going to be. You know, it's a choice for this person, and this person is just too unpredictable. And like, there's a part of them that wants to take a chance, but like they're they would have a problem being fair. I'm not gonna lie, because they're just too much. They just can't decide what's more important to them, whether it's the addictions and running around and being connected to a lot of people and doing what they want to do, or actually being in a connection that emotionally is healthy. It's like they've never had it. There's a part of them that doesn't believe that it can be existence. So this is what you know, that you would be too tired to be connected to this person, because again, they just have too many old habits due to those family patterns, and they're just stuck in the past. And it's like this is what it means by bringing that baggage into the connection. It's like it's let it go. It's like they don't what they're doing, what this person is doing anyway. But this happens in with a lot of people that are in relationships with someone that is needs healing. What you'll see is that 9 times out of 10 they came from homes that were similar. And again, that the person's personality is extremely unpredictable. So because it is unpredictable, you wind up getting a lot of anxiety. You get a lot of like where you get paranoid because this person is like just very risky, and they're risky with not just their own life, but if they're connected to you, it again you reap some of the negative karma because of it, because they don't care. They take too many chances, and they don't want you to have boundaries. So it's again, it's like you got to a point where you're like, I need to leave this behind. And it was like you really listen to your inner guidance system, like I said, because they don't want to have boundaries. So we have to say, okay, so what we see is that this person will come back into your life, but they're going to come back into your life and be the same as what they were. It's that they do have feelings, but they need to do the healing. They're fragmented, and they're fragmented due to the experiences that they live. Now I'm going to pull from the inner child cards to see what your wounds are and what their wounds are. We're going to do it a little bit different today. Um, see what your inner child wounds are, and then you can see the karmic themes that play out within your life. And then when you get to pull to see what their inner child wounds are, you see how their karmic themes play out, and then you can see how both are playing out within your relationship and how you trigger each other and what the whole spiritual significance is. So we're going to pull 6 for you first. Sing, disassociated, self-love, naive, nurture, and outdoors and nature. Disassociation shows us that there was trauma, because that's what happens when we go through experiences that are traumatic. When I'm talking about those fragmented pieces of ourselves that we don't remember from, we remember the experience, but there's elements of the experience we don't remember. And now that those fragmented pieces became part of our subconscious mind and are mirroring out like um experiences within our relationships. They're manifesting in other ways within our life that are negatively influencing. And so that's what I was saying about the dissociation, because we just don't just get rid of negative energy. We have to integrate it. We have to transmute it. Otherwise, that energy stays within us. That's how cancer is manifested. Everything happens in the spiritual realm long before it happens in the physical realm. Your spiritual blocks are held in not just your mind, but in your body. And it makes it very difficult for the blood to circulate through your body and for the blood to bring oxygen to all your cells. So over time, the imbalance manifests, the sickness and disease. So again, it's about taking care of yourself, giving yourself self-love and nurturing. Most of all, really being connected to the physical world, the physical body. Outdoors in nature, that's being connected to God. It's connected to the universe. It's connected to your physical body. Outdoors and nature symbolizes the root chakra. And that root chakra is being supported, that we weren't supported. And so the outdoors and nature is therapeutic for the nervous system. That root chakra has the endocrine gland that's associated with it is the adrenals. So going into survival mode just from our thoughts. That's what we saw with this person. So again, they would have to do meditation. They would have to do breath work. They would have to really recondition their nervous system to get back into the body, recondition their mind, the way that they think. And that's by listening to certain things, positive spiritual information, whether that's binaural beats, whether it's certain, like I said, different types of meditation, different types of mind healing, doing healing modalities like EFT, NLP. It's like this person needs to like recondition themselves because they were wired in a environment that wasn't healthy. And I feel like for you, same thing. It's like, and that like you not really knowing, being naive about it. So I feel like you were easily manipulated as a child. And so people took advantage of that you're being a child. So giving yourself that love and nurturing, being connected to the physical body, the physical world, giving yourself self-love and getting better connected to the physical body, the physical world is what heals disassociation. It's that we can't go back in time, but we can do like shadow work. This is one way that we can ground the spiritual lesson and to see what the spiritual lesson is, and that's through doing shadow work. And that's because, again, you attracted someone that's void of giving love due to this fact that there's those fragmented pieces within inside of you. And so you don't really have that negative energy. Like we don't see rebellious cards here. If anything, we see the need to give yourself love because you were neglected, getting a better connection to the physical world, the physical body, because the ancestors, the roots of family were not strong. So you can't go back in time and you're not going to get a new family. It's like you can create your a family one day, however, or you might have, did one time, but Spirit says it's more about getting a better connection to the world, to yourself. And that's not through being in your body, but going out into the world, connecting to different people, doing different things, being exposed to different things. So you change your mind in your head. And the reason why is because you were neglected. There was, again, this trauma. You didn't get that love. You're naive, like it was used against you. You didn't get the nurturing. And if you used your voice, well, there was punishment. So actually you speaking up to like even this person was difficult because it's like you weren't really allowed to speak, to direct, to say what your needs are. So you did you did that. Now we're gonna look at this person's and see what theirs are. Doing a little different today. See what theirs are. Inner authority, oppression, innocence, imagination, rebellious. I knew that that person was going to get rebellious, and suppression. So this person was brought like their traumas, their big triggers from growing up in that toxic environment was that they were brought up in an environment that they were suppressed and oppressed. That means kept down, ignored, and so this person acted out a lot. This is like they were rebellious. They listened to their inner authority and they rebelled against their family. But in that, it ruined the innocence of the connection, right? Where they never believed that they were going to be supported by a mother or father. They never believed that their mother or father really loved them unconditionally. The innocence of like the world was also ruined because this person grew up with addictions. They grew up with within a very toxic family environment where a lot of the pain that those parents held projected it onto onto them, making them feel inadequate, making them feel like there was something wrong with them. So this person checked out too. They disassociated, but they did so within the mind through their imagination. So this is why they're not really as grounded as they should be. This is why they get triggered a lot because they haven't healed. So their imagination can actually make them paranoid too, to see things that really aren't there, to get triggered because they project a lot. And then people react to the way that they project. And so it makes this person feel like they don't belong, makes them person feel inadequate. So they like to be alone too. They feel comfortable, but there's a part of them that because they were suppressed and oppressed, they're still they don't trust. They don't trust. Like I said, the innocence of relationships was robbed because of the way that this person was brought up, and for you too. But for this person, that's what their spiritual blocks are. And that's why they have such a need to control because they were oppressed and suppressed. We're going to pull two cards and we're going to see again a sacred space. These are the healing modalities, hearts aligned, beyond illusion, tribe vibe. I'm going to pull two more, powerful voice, uncharted waters. So I do feel like right now the healing that both parties need to do, because in this energy, this person still would want to control everything, their way, the highway. It's not that they don't have feelings, but that's the way that they are in relationships. That's what they feel comfortable with, and they didn't do the healing. So you both would have to go into uncharted territory, right? Uncharted waters. And that's by like invoking your curiosity to discover new aspects of life. And that's what I was saying when I said you need to go out and try different things, do different things, explore, but understand a lot of times what you'll see is anxiety will come up or your own mind will talk you out of it. So it's about like you, in order to let go of the past, you have to create a future. You have to create yourself. In order to let go of that person from the past, there's no other choice. And then it's about connecting to people, like-minded people, because that's what's going to give you the support. You can't go back in time. You can't go back in time to get different parents. That's not what's going to happen. However, it's like when we go into uncharted waters, we're just going out into the world and exploring, trying new things, like whatever, letting our curiosity lead the way of things that we wanted to try, things that inspire us, things that stir up our soul. That's again that we're going to meet people. We're going to meet like-minded people. We're going to meet people that want to support us. We're going to see that there's a lot of strength in numbers. We're also going to see that we don't have to really face uh, difficult times alone because we have support all the time. And Spirit says it's always about utilizing your voices. So you again can create the world with your voice. It's about setting boundaries and use your voice to express yourself fiercely, speak with courage, say what you mean what you say, and understand this person is not transparent. And this is where they, again, would need to do deeper healing work, such as going beyond the illusions, doing different spiritual practices, and doing things that align with their heart. Again, but they have to heal their heart. And the way that they can heal their heart is again, is going into uncharted waters that are going to make them see themselves different, that are going to connect them to their tribe, that are going to support them and love them and guide them, that they're going to learn that they don't need to have somebody outside of them. They're not going to need to form attachments, that they can actually be in a healthy relationship. Like this person needs to, again, like be able to discern the truth that fear obscures and see the reality, like pull back the curtain of the illusions of who they perceive they are, what they perceive that they can have, like seeing their life through the filter of those wounds. They can't anymore. They have to go beyond that illusion, and the way that that's done is to dive deep into themselves and do shadow work. And that is also another way of going into uncharted territory. But you would still need to, again, form connections, authentic connections to help you, support you during your healing journey. It's also about doing your part, which is reconditioning your body and mind, and by creating a secret space in your place so that you can cleanse your energy regularly and so that you can spend time with yourself. Why? Because you want to be able to tap into the higher self, the God part of self. And a lot of times, if we grew up in survival, we can't do that. It's like what happens is we go through an experience and we can't think for ourselves. We get nervous. You may be someone that says, well, I get really nervous and then I want to call my friends 1,000 times. Or if I'm in a relationship, then I put all that onto that person, where Spirit's saying it's like you need to, again, balance yourself and find your tribe and learn how to, be able to tap into yourself, be able to, recondition your mind yourself. And that means that you need to take time for meditation, prayer, journaling, again, more shadow work. And you do that again by creating a sacred space and spending the time with yourself that you need to in order to really figure out what is in alignment with my heart's desires. Again, follow your passion, become the energy of passion. It's like, then you can have authentic passion. But otherwise, it'll always be the same karmic theme that you grew up with, making you feel as if you can't have love because the person doesn't show up, and they don't show up for themselves, they neglect themselves. So it was all about forgiveness in order to let go. It's like both parties need to forgive. We pulled this twice, forgiveness. And that's when we can really align ourselves with our heart's desire and create a new way where there is no way that helps transform us, that helps create us. And I feel like that's what this connection really is doing. It changed you, where you detach from this person and you're like, nope, I'm choosing myself and I'm going to put the energy into myself. And then this person, when they come back, obviously you're not going to be there. And it's like, so even though they're not healed, it's still going to hurt them, because it's like there was a part of them that knew that this could have been a good thing. So again, they had the opportunity to step it up, to become a divine counterpart, but instead they took too long. They did finally, but they took too long. And everybody has free will. This person just showed you too much. And so Spirit leaves us off with one more message, which is all about the goodness. The goodness, Spirit says. And you do know that by overcoming your imperfections, polish your character. And you do that by creating a new life and dropping people out of your life that have a horrible character. This person did not have a good character at all. And feed on the positive aspects of yourself. Free yourself. Allow your goodness to manifest and become a source of your own joy. That's through the passions of life, things that stir up your soul, things that you're interested in. And through gentleness, offer unconditional support, understanding, and love to yourself all the time, and then you can to others, because you're doing for yourself, you're giving to yourself, that you poured the cup all the way up inside of you, right? So your cup is overflowing, but it's not from other people pouring their drink into your cup or pouring from an outside picture. No, it's from you actually creating that yourself. So you came to a point where you're like, okay, that you were just too inconsistent. And you actually were able to see this would be exactly the same exact energy that I grew up with. And so, you know, you really were able to break the karmic connection. And I feel like that's a good thing, because hey, we're going into a new year. And so you're gonna see, like, you're putting kind of it in the universe's hands, and that's the best thing to do during this time. It's like you're not doing anything. You're not trying to manipulate it. You're not trying to control it. You don't want what's like this type of energy into your life. You'd rather go into the uncharted territory. And that's what I said. It's like that's how you give yourself love. That's how you transmute the negative energy. Because again, you're channeling it towards a new way. All right, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.